I tell you, I was scared. Almost lose my nursing license. I was so scared because you know how you have to talk to lawyers and you have to probably testify. And I had dreams, nightmare that I gave up my license, that it wasn't given up, that they were taking it away from me. Stay tuned. Your nursing license. I know I talk about in previous video, license got suspended, what you should do that you don't get in that situation. Have your license been revoked? And I always talk about make sure you're giving it up. They're not taking it from you. These are serious things that you can easily lose your license. And it could happen to you being a new nurse. It could happen being a nurse for 30 something years. Just one simple mistakes. Mistakes sometimes doesn't have to happen because you did it. Sometimes you get caught up in it. And I'm going to tell you now, you hear it from me. You may feel set up. You may feel, how come the supervisor don't have your back? You may feel that the facility is against you. But like I said, be careful and think of yourself. Cover yourself only. This is your license. You work hard to get it. It can easily taken away and you may not get it back. I'm not talking about DUI, drinking. Yes, you could lose your license for that. Drugs. I'm not talking about that. Yes, you could lose it because eventually you end up trying to get the drugs from the facility that you work. We're not discussing that. I have other videos on that. You may get caught up in this situation. I'm going to tell you the story. Don't worry. Just be patient. And I'm trying to, you feel like, oh my God, how did I get into this situation? I'm a careful nurse. I dot my T's and my whatever, I's, whatever. I try to do the best I can. How did I get caught up in this? At some point, it happened to me, and I'm going to tell you my story. When you've been a nurse for a while, and I hope these stories, these incidents, help new nurses so that they can learn from these mistakes and go the right way and don't get their license taken away or ever come up to be questioned. Because if you have to sit in front of a lawyer, you may not go to in front of a judge. You may not go in front of the board of nursing, but you might have to deal with the facility lawyer. You may got caught up in some family issue and have to testify. And you may feel like, oh my God, are they going to back me? So I want you to think about this. And I've been a nurse for a long time. I told you I was an LPN for a while. And at some point in my career in nursing, you work at the facility so long, you get relaxed. You get, oh, I know this patient get this pill and I'm going to do this. And you kind of know the medicine that this in the nursing home that Mrs. Jones is getting the same amount of medicine. And you don't look, you just go with the routine just like that. And you shouldn't. There's certain things that you should not do. And I was relaxed, yes. So the other day, and I'm responding to a comment, I think it's Mommy 12, 10, something like that. She asked me about a situation, have I ever testified or whatever. So I'm responding to that. But I can answer that and said, sometimes when you give 100%, when you do it, when you see the people mistakes and you speak up, it end up hurting you. So I try to stay, what they call it, under the radar somehow. But somehow I can't stay on the radar for long. The lights tend to shine on me, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so I was a supervisor. I had just become an RN. I've been working there for a long time as an LPN in the nursing home, and I was doing the weekend program. And so I became an RN, and I stayed here for a while. So they gave me the supervisor position. And you know, when you come in as a supervisor, you're working with LPNs, they're on the floor. When you come in as supervisor, you go straight to the office and you deal with a lot of issues like staffing issues, nurses call out at the last minute and things happen, or CNA is not available, but you go and get the staffing situation calm, get the building calm before you make your rounds. So I got a report from this other supervisor, the other nurse, night shift supervisor. She has a lot of administrative filing. She got to deal with staffing, and staffing is the biggest draining work that you have to call the staff because they're going to be short in the morning, or they may be short now and you're trying to get somebody on the PRN list to come in. So that can take up your whole night. When I say take up your whole night being a supervisor, I'd rather be on the floor just being a regular little nurse and just get my meds and get to go home on time. Not only that, being a supervisor, you're responsible for the whole building. Everything that happened to it is not going to be falling on the nurse. It's going to be where was the supervisor? The supervisor is at fault. The supervisor license cover everybody. Housekeeping, dietary that comes in early in the morning, everyone. So anyway, I was trying to get it together. I was trying to get some staff in the door because I like for them to have, to have a nice night. When I'm working weekend, we always cover. People show up when I'm working, but I wasn't supposed to work. This is during the week. And so the other nurse, I'm taking her spot. I guess they call out a lot for her. So I was in the midst of that, trying to get the staff. People who I know will come in for me. And when you're a supervisor, you kind of know who will say yes for you when you're calling them in the middle of the night. Just like if they call Patrice, I was loyal to if they call me and I say, oh yeah, I'll come in just for you. But when they get on my nerves or when they do something or treat me with disrespect, I don't give them no more loyalty. And that's just a FYI, not the story. So anyway, around 2 a.m. or maybe 3 a.m., close to 3 a.m., so 2:55, the LPN on the floor called me and said, Mr. Jones passed away. She think that Mr. Jones passed away because it's the RN that's going to pronounce the patient. And I'm the only RN in the building. So I said, just a minute, I'm coming now. So I went in there and I checked on the patient. And mark you, I didn't even get a chance to do my rounds yet. That means when I say do my rounds, go to the whole building and check on all my patients. Go in the room, make sure they're alive, they're breathing. So apparently, that nurse didn't do her job either because she didn't go around on her side and check on her patient before the other nurse left. So at 3 o'clock, she went in, the patient, she said, was dead. Okay, possible, she said. So I went in, the patient was indeed deceased. And was ice cold. So I called the family let them know so they could come in if they want. I call the doctor, let him know that I pronounced the patient and so forth. So when he comes in, he could sign the death certificate. I think that everything was okay. I did what I was supposed to do, and we went on around do our own business. Maybe a week after, I was calling to the office. The family said when they were there that day and their patient was okay and something, wasn't right. At the time, I did not know that what time this patient really died. Just the time I put on there that I pronounced it, 2:55. I didn't know that the coroner said that because, the family, I don't know, something about the family felt that the nursing home may be at fault. So when they check it, this patient must have died way before we got there at 11 to 7. That's when I worked. Because they said, that's what the DON told me, the patient was so cold, icy, was in rigor mortis. I hope I'm saying it right. So it couldn't possible, I'm saying to myself, but that we had anything to do with it. Apparently, the nurse before, the supervisor, I don't know why she was in a rush to get out. She was running. I felt like I walked into a situation that I was set up. Whole week. These family didn't come to see the patient. Never came to see the patient. But when something happened, they come out the woodworks like crazy. And so, because I was the last person, they're going to question everybody, my night shift, why I didn't get a chance to do my rounds, even though I was busy. I just felt like I was set up in a situation, but I'm not going to blame anybody because yes, I should have put all those work aside and do my rounds. But I didn't at that time because there's no excuse for that. Anyway, when they did, the lawyers for the facility call and they question you and and it make you feel like you're going to court or something because the family felt like they wanted a autopsy or they wanted to prove that the facility did wrong. Whose fault was it? I really don't know. I can only tell you that it wasn't the facility didn't wrong. The nurse before me and the supervisor before me did not do their job. They should make their round. Was this person critical ill? Yes, the person was. That's what I was told because I don't know the patient that much. I was just there doing my job. We all was questioned. We had to write statement. You had to testify. They were just preparing us in case we have to be testifying against, I guess, a jury. I felt like when it was all going down, I was a little scared. I was scared every day going to work because I don't know if I'm saying to myself, I should have did it, but I didn't make my rounds. If anything, I learned from that experience. It turned out okay. I got to keep my license. The other nurse, the other supervisor, they fire her because it seemed like that person was so in rigor mortis. I guess they can determine that she didn't do nothing, period. And the nurse that had the patient, they fire her too. They could have easily let her lose her license because at that time, the DON can make a decision and they will send it to the board, but I don't think they did that. They just fire them. It teach me a very valuable lesson. And some of the people say, why am I so rigid sometime? And before I take the keys, before when they giving me report, I go in as a travel nurse at the hospital. I walk the floor before I go get my report from the nurses. And I go in and say, "Hi, Mrs. Jones, I'm Mrs. Foster. I'm your nurse for tonight." I may say that. "I'll be right back. I'm going to get report from the nurse." And I do my rounds. Make sure they're breathing, because at night shift, they might be sleeping. Make sure they're breathing, because I don't never want to feel how I felt that at this point, I've been a nurse for so long. I just got the RN and I was about to almost lose my nursing license. Thank God I've never been in a situation where I had to go to court. I've never been in a situation where I had to go to the Board of Nursing. I've never had to testify. The only thing I have been privileged more than once to happen is when maybe you didn't documentation and something happened with the patient, and then the facility lawyers, because the family is going to sue, and they may get you and they just grill you. What did you do? This, why you didn't document? And you may potentially be the scapegoat, but you didn't hear it from me. I've never been in a lawsuit. No, I have never. It's frightening. It's frightening when it's a med error, knowing that your license is going to be taken away. It's even frightening in a situation like that, because I've never pronounced anyone dead before. And here it is, I walk into it. The only thing I can say to you as a new nurse, because it happens to you too, you just got to be very careful. And these are the things that these mistakes has taught me. I always do my rounds. I always, even if, and I'm telling you this, you may trust the nurse you work with. She's a good nurse. That's my bestie. That's my BFF, whatever. But I'm telling you, nurses, that's your license, not your BFF. You do your job. You do the right thing. You don't take anyone's word for it. If you work and you relieving me, don't take my word for it. Go and make your rounds yourself, because things can happen. And it could be a mistake and they don't even know. And it will fall on you. So you don't want to be a scapegoat. You don't want to get caught up in situation. You want to keep that license. It's very quick to be taken away. It's very quick for you to lose your license. Another major issue, when we talk about psych nursing, you work around the kids. I personally don't like when people touch me. You don't know me and then you come and pat me and you don't want to hug me. No. So when I work not because I'm a psych nurse, I just don't like that. Boundary, you know what they say, boundary? So when a kid or a psych patient, especially you guys in nursing, those little teenager girls, when they want to hug you, you want to do something, you just put your hands out like that. Let's do this. And that's what I tell them. No hugs. No hugs. And you put your hands like this. You know what I mean? Because you can be caught up in stuff. I work at a state facility back in the days, and the main people they will be accusing the guys, accusing the ladies for simple stuff, and the facility they'll be out of work for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they found out it was just a fabricating lie and it do happen. So when you're a male staff and you're working around women, so be safe, guys and ladies, nurses, be safe. Almost lost my nursing license. That's an awful feeling. An awful, awful feeling. I mean, can you imagine you going home every day, you can't eat, sleep, you just worried that you're going to have to change career. But back in the days, I had malpractice insurance on me. I took out, and it was only $22 a month to get malpractice insurance. The biggest company, they advertised in the nursing magazine. And I got that insurance, liability insurance. You know why? Because I was hearing that, and sometimes you feel like maybe the hospital, they cover you, yes. But you may feel that is not enough. And I was reading that you need to have liability insurance. You also need to have malpractice liability insurance if you work for an agency that doesn't take out tax, because you don't have any coverage on you right there. You're out in the open. I don't get it anymore. Not because I think that I'm going to get into a situation. I'm not going to recommend it. I think it's your choice. If you feel that you may get into a situation as a new nurse, they're going to market it to you to get the malpractice insurance. But I believe that the facility has that for you. Some people say that it may not be enough, but it's your choice. You can get malpractice insurance, which what it does is it covers, I'm looking at one now, as now the rate's gone up. I only pay $22 a month, but online I'm seeing it could be $100 and something a month or a year. It could be that, but just check it. They give you a discount being a new nurse. And I'm not here pushing that insurance, so don't get it wrong. I'm not trying to tell you to get malpractice insurance. If you're working full-time at a facility, I'm pretty sure they cover you if in a lawsuit. But if you feel that you need it, you can get that kind of insurance to cover you in a situation like this. I did have it at one time, but I felt like, I don't know, I just discontinue it. And I have been safely going along in nursing, just doing what I'm supposed to do. I think what I'm trying to say here, you may do the right thing and get caught up in something. You may mistakes. You're not perfect. You're going to make mistake in nursing. The main thing to know, you just keep yourself safe. And if you do make a mistake, you report it so they can help you. In other words, the facility has these lawyers. I hope it never get to that situation. You can correct medication errors, simple errors. You just double check yourself. That's all I can say. Double check yourself. Like I told you the other day, if I'm giving medication, the patient said, this medication I got last night from the nurse was blue, and now you're bringing me pink. You make sure you go back and you double check. Just be safe. You may be the nurse that coming on that's giving the right medicine. I don't know about the blue medicine, miss, but tonight this is the pink medicine, and it's the correct medicine. So cover yourself. Be safe. Don't get in a situation where you almost lost your nursing license. No, that is an awful, frightening, scary feeling. Talking to lawyers, hospital lawyers, is like talking, you know how it is talking to lawyers, how they make you feel. You almost feel guilty when you're not. So be careful, be safe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day or night in your state or your country. Thank you.